Major green card rule changes just took effect, July 2025 update. If you're applying for a green card, work permit, or even just staying in the US longer than 30 days, these new rules impact you directly. USCIS has announced a major overhaul of immigration processing in 2025. These aren't minor updates. They reshape how forms are submitted, how work eligibility is granted, how gender identity is recognized, and even how long-term visitors must report their presence. In this video, we'll walk you through each new policy, who qualifies, who doesn't, and why acting early could be critical. With election year legal battles already heating up, delays could be risky. The stated goal behind these changes is to modernize the system. USCIS says the reforms are designed to reduce backlog, improve fairness, and enhance national security. But many advocacy groups believe the real impact goes much further. These rules touch marriage-based green card applicants, DACA recipients, asylum seekers, foster youth, and even tourists or students staying longer than 30 days. If you fall into any of these categories, it's important to stay informed. You can now file green card applications digitally. Form I-485, the application to adjust status or get a green card, is now fully accessible online. Applicants can upload identity documents, proof of relationship, tax records, and more through a secure USCIS portal. This shift aims to eliminate paper filing errors, reduce mail-based delays, and speed up biometric and interview notices. Early reports suggest some family-based applicants have received biometric appointments in under 15 days and interview letters in under 2 months. But uploading documents online doesn't reduce scrutiny. You still need a valid marriage certificate, Form I-864 for financial support, and solid relationship evidence. Missing items could still lead to a request for evidence or denial. Work permits, new paths for those still waiting. Form I-765 eligibility has quietly expanded. USCIS now allows more individuals with pending applications to apply for work permits, even if their final case decision is still months away. This includes DACA recipients, asylum seekers, humanitarian parolees, and green card applicants whose cases are still under review. The agency says the change is meant to support U.S. labor shortages in healthcare, logistics, food services, and tech. Applicants must still prove a legal basis to remain, but eligibility standards have softened. A revised chart on the USCIS website outlines the new categories. However, approvals are not automatic, and applications still undergo review. Gender marker update, X now officially accepted. USCIS now recognizes X as a valid gender option on immigration documents, alongside male and female. Applicants no longer need to provide medical documentation to select the gender that matches their identity. This change applies to green cards, work permits, and most immigration-related identification forms. It reflects broader efforts to ensure dignity and safety for non-binary and gender-diverse immigrants navigating the system. However, the policy remains controversial. In early 2025, the Trump administration issued an executive order attempting to block the use of X. A federal court struck it down in June, but future litigation remains possible. If you've been waiting to apply using your self-identified gender, now may be your window to do so, before any new ruling potentially reverses it. Mandatory registration for non-citizens staying over 30 days. In one of the most sweeping changes this year, non-US citizens aged 14 or older who plan to stay in the country for more than 30 days must now register with USCIS under Executive Order 14159. Registration includes submitting biometric data, fingerprints and photographs, and updating address changes within 10 days of moving. It applies to tourists, international students, temporary workers, and even visiting scholars. DHS says the measure is about national protection, not surveillance. But critics warn it resembles post-9/11 programs that led to profiling and mass detentions, particularly targeting immigrants from Muslim-majority countries. Those who fail to register could face notices of intent to deny benefits or even removal proceedings. If you're planning a long stay, it's strongly advised to register proactively and keep digital records of all submissions. Special Immigrant Juvenile Status, SIJS, eligibility expanded. In an important move for undocumented minors, USCIS has updated the eligibility criteria for Special Immigrant Juvenile Status. The changes make it easier for abused, abandoned, or neglected children to qualify for lawful permanent residency. The updates streamline the application process and prioritize cases flagged by state child welfare systems. Youth under foster care or state protection can now apply with less red tape and shorter delays. Previously, many young applicants faced years of uncertainty, or complete denials, despite clear risk factors and valid claims. Legal aid organizations say the new rules have already led to higher approval rates and faster responses. For children in vulnerable situations, this could represent their only chance at stability and legal status in the U.S. Legal challenges are already underway. Not all these reforms are guaranteed to last. Several are being contested in court, including the X gender marker policy, the expanded work permit eligibility, and the mandatory registration for long-term non-citizens. State attorneys general have raised constitutional concerns, arguing that some changes overstep federal authority or compromise public safety. Depending on the outcomes, some policies could be paused, narrowed, or overturned by the end of the year. With the 2025 elections approaching, the immigration landscape could shift again in a matter of months. If any of these changes offer you a path forward, use it now. Waiting could mean losing the opportunity altogether. Real stories that show what's happening. A green card applicant in New Jersey filed Form I-485 online for his spouse. Within 6 weeks, he received an interview notice, a timeline unheard of just a year ago. In Arizona, a 17-year-old immigrant who was previously denied SIJS has now been approved under the new guidelines. She's receiving support through a nonprofit and preparing for permanent residency. Meanwhile, a visiting researcher in Florida failed to register after her 30-day entry limit. USCIS issued a warning notice. She submitted her biometrics late, but narrowly avoided penalties after submitting evidence and hiring a lawyer. These aren't isolated cases. They're part of a rapidly evolving system, one that's stricter in some areas, more inclusive in others, and constantly under review. Steps you should take right now. 1. Visit uscis.gov and subscribe to updates. Relying on social media summaries may cause you to miss deadlines or rule changes. 2. Don't use old forms. USCIS is phasing out many outdated PDFs from third-party websites. Always download directly from the source. 3. Check if your case qualifies for any of the expanded benefits, such as early work authorization or digital filing. 4. If you're staying over 30 days and are not a citizen, register with USCIS and save every confirmation. 5. Speak to a qualified immigration attorney if you're affected by SIJS, the new registration rules, or have questions about gender marker changes. Final thought. These policies aren't just headlines, they're reshaping how immigration works on the ground. Whether you're applying for a green card, updating your gender marker, or just planning to stay in the U.S. temporarily, knowing your rights and responsibilities is crucial. That's all for now from U.S. Immigration Intel, your trusted source for policy updates, green card news, and everything immigration. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a critical update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.